Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Today we are reviewing Chapter 1, but before we get to that, I want to discuss the question that I left you with at the end of the last episode, where we discussed the prologue, where I promised I would answer my question, which was, if you could have any director direct your video well, who would it be? And the first time I asked this question, when I was doing just regular read-throughs of the chapter, my answer was Joss Whedon, because I love Joss Whedon. But the more that I thought about it, the more I thought that Bill Lawrence, the writer and creator of Scrubs, would be an amazing person to have work on my video well, because the way that he does the asides in the show would just work really well with how my brain works. So I thought that would be perfect. And yeah. Plus, his sense of humor is spot on with mine. So it would just be like, boop! And it would be perfect. But enough about that. Maybe you have your own opinion about that, and you can tell me in the comments. But let's get on with Chapter 1, because I just got invited to see Deadpool again, and I'm going to do that as soon as possible. The beginning of Chapter 1 actually starts out with the title page that says Level 1, which was brilliant, because it made it feel like the prologue was just like a cutscene before the video game, which was awesome. Because that's exactly what this book should be, is mirroring a video game. And then it goes into the backstory and life of the character, Wade, who found the Easter egg in Holiday's game. It starts with gunfire, which makes you believe that Wade lives in kind of a kind of like the wrong side of the tracks. And then it describes his living conditions in the trailer that he's living in. And they're really cramped. He's living in a trailer with like 3 other families. And it kind of describes his backstory on how he got into the trailer. Apparently his parents died. His mom died of an overdose, and it was just really, really tragic. And his dad died like out getting groceries for them. And it really made me feel for the character. And like it would tell backstory on how he got into the Oasis, the video game, and how like the Oasis was like his virtual babysitter. And I can totally relate to that, because the television was my virtual babysitter. And he talked about all the good times that he had in the Oasis, like when his mother would play video games with him. And it got me thinking of like all the times that my mom played video games with me. And well, she only really played one video game with me, but it was awesome, because like there's this one part in a video game that neither one of us could get past. We were playing Legend of Zelda, and there's the room with the bosses that we just called the backstabbers, because you couldn't attack them from the front. You had to attack them from behind, because they had these shields, so it was going chink every time you tried to kill them. And it had like 10 to 15 backstabbers in the room, and we couldn't kill them all, and the only way that you could progress past the room is to kill them all. And so it was a real big pain in the ass. And I remember my mom telling me that she would stay up until like 4 a.m. trying to destroy that room, and she could never do it. And it just like, that makes me happy. Did any of you have any stories like that when you were little? Video games that your mom played with you? Because I thought it was kind of awesome when she played with me. And after his parents died, he moves in with the evil Aunt Alice, who is not taking him on as family. she takes him on as a way to get more food vouchers. And she's just like always strung out on drugs and never really there for him. And in fact, there's a scene where she catches him with a laptop in her laundry room and she takes the laptop away. She has her shirtless boyfriend take the laptop away. And he even says, I know I'm just here for the food vouchers and that should pay for my rent. And she's like, no, you don't pay your part of the rent. So I get whatever you own. And it's just kind of an awful experience. And after that, he decides to leave early for class. And he describes having to traverse through this community that he lives in, which he calls the Stacks, which is actually what this is. It's a picture of the Stacks, which is stacks of mobile homes, almost stacked like skyscrapers. And he talks about like problems of the stacks falling over on top of each other, people like getting killed, and then he talks about finding his hideout, which was under a pile of cars, and how he like hollowed out this one car at the bottom of a pile and just tricked it out. Because it also discusses how he's kind of like technologically crafty, how he can find something broken and fix it. And I'm hoping that will be a key to something that happens in the future of this book. Because this is the last chapter I read. I had no idea what happens in chapter 2. And it also discusses this character named Mrs. G, who I'm kind of worried about, because whenever there's a good character in a book who is like the protagonist's like best friend, and they're like a lot older and really sweet and really nice. Can you see where I'm going with this? It usually ends up that character gets in a lot of trouble. Either they're so old that they're going to die anyways, and so like that's pain. It's just like, I feel like that character is just there to make you feel things as soon as they go away. And I am not looking forward to that if that's what happens. But also while he's traversing the stacks on his way to school, he talks about a video game that he made based on his traversing. And he talks about he talks about this video game and all the things that he had to do, and how for some gunters, which are what the name of the people that are hunting for the egg, for the Easter egg are called, making a video game of your own was kind of like a rite of passage, a way for kind of like the way that the Jedis had to make their own lightsabers in Star Wars. And it made me wonder, like, what kind of game would you have made had you had the opportunity? Like, what kind of mechanics would you have put into it? What kind of story would you have put into it? So if you have any ideas on that, why don't you put that down in the comments, and I will answer that question tomorrow. And tomorrow I will be reading a chapter that I've never read. So that will be even more exciting for you. So I hope you all enjoyed this, and I look forward to talking to you tomorrow about Ready Player One. Toodles for now!